Hello YouTube. Since there isn't a DIY video or tutorial on how to do this, I'm gonna put one together from what I learned today from me doing my own panel. What we're gonna accomplish today is have our center panel light up and whatever color that you want, or whatever color the glow panels are available in. For mine, it's gonna be red because that's what I chose to go with. First things first though, you need to take your center panel off of your car. And it's pretty easy to do. Let me take this apart, flip this over. There's going to be 6 nuts you got to take off that secures your panel in place. There's one here, one here, one here, the 3 on this side the same, and then there's this center plastic clip that needs to be popped out. Don't forget this one. Once you get your panel out, to take this apart, you can use one of 2 ways to do this. There, you could use a heat gun, or you could stick your panel in the oven and bake this and take it apart. Pros to the oven is that you could heat up the whole entire panel at once, and then all the glue will be the same temp, and it should be easier to come off. I used the heat gun, so it took me a little bit longer, but the process is still the same. I just started from one side with the heat gun, started over here, and worked my way down. I'd have to heat this side, and heat this side, and then pry it so it releases itself, and then work my way down to the middle section, and then this end section over here. Like I said, the oven will heat the whole thing up at once, so that you can take it off. But you might take the chance of melting your panel. And what I would do is put this side facing down, and then your lens facing up. And I would suggest you heat the oven to 350 to 400. Oh, let me throw a disclaimer in there first. If you mess up your panel, it's not my fault. Do this at your own risk. So what I would recommend is heat this to 300 to 400 degrees. Preheat it first so your oven's already hot. Don't stick it in there and then turn on it. Learn how to bake. Ask your mom if you don't know how to do that. Preheat your oven to 400 degrees so it gets to 400 degrees. So when you stick it in, it's already at 400 degrees. And then check it every 2 to 3 minutes. See how the glue is and see how much is going to come off. But before you stick it in the oven, there are 4 screws that you need to take off, and they're at the top of the panel. Over here in the corner, 2 in the middle, one here, or no, right here, and then the one at the end. Now these screws, they are not flatheads nor a Phillips. So what you're going to have to do is, you see the plastic around here? This head is going to be recessed and almost flush with this plastic. So what you have to do is take a razor blade or a knife and trim around this part right here, and then take a set of pliers and just twist it. There's no thread lock on here, so it should come off pretty easy. I did it and it came off pretty. This one needed to be trimmed here. You see this? I trimmed this around here. All this got trimmed off, and then I just took a pliers to grab the head of this and just started turning. So once you get your panel apart, you end up with this. I have a Jspec panel. A USDM panel might be, I mean, it should be the same process, but I think one difference that I read online was that when it comes to taking off your lens or working on the lens, you want to spray paint this black. I don't know why, but this already comes black. I think it's not dark enough. So you want to spray paint this area black. From what I read, you're supposed to use black primer because all the other paints are going to bubble. But here's my panel that I have. This is a 2-inch by 12-inch glow panel. I bought this off of eBay. Most of these panels are located in China, so they're going to be coming from China. But I found a seller in the US that's in California that ships these out, so it doesn't take a month because it comes off the boat. But that's the panel. And then what I did here was I masked off my lettering. This lettering is raised, and you don't have to go into detail as much as I did if you're good at sanding. But the reason why I sand or taped off so much was so that when I sanded with my finger, it didn't fall into these little dips in here and take off the black paint here. So I took my time, masked it all off, and then just went over with my sandpaper and took off the paint. What I used was a 400 grit, and then a 2000 grit to finish it up. This isn't done yet. I'm still gonna work on this some more because I'm not satisfied with it. But as you sand, you can hold it up to the light, and you'll see that you can see through your lettering now. Now what I need to do to wrap this up still is I want my lettering to be as clear as this plastic over here. So I'm gonna go buy some plastic polish and see if I can finish this out even a little bit more. The reason why I want to do that right now is because it's hazy, it's not clear. So when I stick the panel behind it, I'm not really satisfied with the color because the color looks kind of pinkish. So in order to remedy that as well, I'm probably gonna go buy some VHT red tail light tint, and once I get this as clear as I want it to be, I'm gonna spray my lettering with the VHT red tail light tint, and that should help out with the color paint that shows up through this. Let me get this wired up to show you guys what it looks like. The only problem I see with this panel is how we're gonna run this wire through the back panel here. I'll leave that to you guys to figure out, but you're pretty much gonna have to drill a hole here to run your wiring through. So with this panel, I'm just gonna tape this in real quick. Just for all intents and purposes. This panel comes with an inverter too. This is where you're gonna need your little wiring harness. You just take this, clip it together. And then I'm gonna wire this up real quick. Bear with me. This is what you end up with. You could buy the panel in various colors. I just wanted to do red because I want to keep it as clean as possible and not get pulled over by the cops. But as you can see, it's kind of pink. So I'm gonna try to make this as red as possible with the VHT tail light tint. Or I could try to use some red vinyl tint, but I might just do the tail light tint from VHT. And that's pretty much the gist of it. You'll just have to, I'm going to wire this, run this wiring through and connect it to my license plate bulb, because I don't want to have it, I don't want to have this interfere with my dash brake light indicators if anything was to go wrong. So that's pretty much it. And then to put it back together, you drill your hole, run your wiring through. This most likely is not going to stay inside your panel. So you just got to run this wiring through the back of this somewhere, wherever you choose. And then to put it back together, I will probably just lay your lens on top of your panel, stick it back in your oven, heat it up, and then push it back together. All this glue is going to heat up and get soft, and then when you squish it back together, it should just seal itself up again, just like the factory. And that's pretty much it. Thanks, guys.